Hey, what's up? It's Kurt. This is the Carbs Community Show. I think this is number 15. I wanted to talk about body issues. In the fitness industry, you know, a lot of images are pumped out, and people have a certain idea of what being fit is and being healthy, and what what you should look like, right? And so a lot of times people come to me as a personal trainer and they want to look a certain way, and they think that it's a healthy way to look, to have, like, to be shredded with abs and whatnot, and they have like bad body issues as far as how they perceive themselves. And little girls, I have a young girl that I train, and she thinks, she's fat, and you have even adult women who think they're fat, and if they're around 18 to 24% body fat, and they have some body fat on them, but it's a healthy range. 35% and up is what's called obese, and that's where you have health issues. Under 25, under even 26, for a woman, you're still in a healthy range of body fat. It's not the images that are broadcasted on Instagram, and girls are like super fit. Just know, like, a lot of the images you see aren't all. It's not all fitness. It's not all like eating right and working out and doing cardio and stuff like that. And actually having, a really low body fat range, it can be also put you at could also put you at health risk. So sometimes people, they say they don't want to eat carbs, or they want to starve themselves, or they get into things like bulimia, where they're throwing up their food, and they're looking at themselves in the mirror and they're like, oh, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat, and they're not fat. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Um, as far as like building muscle and being fit, you need to eat food. You need to have probably a lot more food than you think you need. Like, if I give people a meal plan and they want to get abs, that they feel like them stuffing themselves, and there's a lot of carbs, and sometimes I have white rice on the meal plan, or a lot of potatoes, and they're like, man, this is just too much food, and then they'll sabotage their success by starving themselves and not eating enough. And what happens if you don't eat enough? You're not getting all the nutrients that you need to build the muscle, to raise your metabolism, to burn the fat, and to get the toned look you like. And you understand, you want to like look, bikini ready, and be thin, and have, definition in your abdominals or definition in your arms. But that doesn't mean that where you're at right now isn't healthy. It may not be what the cultural idea of beauty or being attractive is, but that's just a commercialized view of what beauty is. That's not what that's not that you're fat. It's not that you're overweight. You're not. Anywhere between 18-25% is what's called the optimal range. Optimal means the ideal range. You should be in that range. Olympian athletes are at around between, for a female, 10 to 14% body fat. That still would, a lot of people would think that is fat, especially if you're a competitor or any type of bodybuilding competition, or you look at those images where the girls are shredded, and you can see the obliques, and there's like almost no visible body fat on them. That's not necessarily a healthy range. If you get sick, like for instance, if you got cancer, that body fat will protect you. That body fat will keep you alive. It'll be better to have some body fat on you. When you get into those low body fat range, your hormones are off balance. You may not have a menstruation cycle, and that for some people might be good because they don't like being on their cycle, but that could eventually affect you maybe having children. There's a lot of health risks that come along with it. You can have hair loss. That your body's not getting the nutrients that it needs. It's cool for like a temporary window. It's cool to be shredded maybe for the summer for a few months, and you diet down and you get lean and you're wearing your two-piece bikini and you're going on cruises or going to pool parties or whatever. But to live up to that all year round, is not necessarily healthy. It has just as much risk as being obese. And I mean, anybody want to argue that with me, that's fine. I see people on there and who are fitness I'm not gonna say icons, but personalities, and they'll talk about people who have body fat on them, and they treat them like they're lazy or something like that. When that's not the case. You shouldn't feel like you're lazy or you're fat or whatever because you have optimal body fat range. Look it up. Look up what a healthy body fat percentage is and what it looks like. Okay, so it's really also it's when you believe those ideals, when you come to a professional and you want to get a certain body, you want your body to look a certain way, and you get a meal plan that isn't like tilapia and broccoli all day long, and you're starving yourself and you're going into depression and you're overtraining and you're injuring yourself constantly, you're getting sick constantly. That's not how you do it. You know what I mean? You need to eat to build the muscle. Building the muscle is going to raise your metabolism, which is going to burn body fat. You can be at a low body fat for a certain window of time. You can even be fairly lean year round, but to be like shredded all year round, it's not that you can't do it. I'm just saying that there's health risks, just like being obese. Being over 35% body fat doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to be sick or get heart disease or diabetes or anything, but the risks go up. And just like if you're in a low body fat range, the risks go up. So when you get a meal plan and someone is giving you instruction to eat a certain amount of carbohydrates, a certain amount of fats, don't look at it as like carbs are bad. Carbs are not bad. Fat isn't bad. You should have a certain amount of protein to complement your workout routine if you're working out to build a certain amount of muscle. You figure, like, let's say a girl weighs 120 pounds, okay, and she wants to have a better, more shaped butt and legs, right? Well, to do that, she's going to have to eat more. So there's a certain amount her metabolism can handle, which will be your maintenance calories, right? Let's say for 120 pounds, I'd say probably maintenance calories are probably somewhere between 1,800 and 2,200 calories. So you're going to need to get to a point where you're eating more than that to gain muscle. Now, there's going to be a window where you're going to put on some body fat. So let's say you started out at 20% body fat. When you start eating in a surplus of calories, you may go up to 22, 23% body fat. But you're going to stay there eating that amount of food. You're going to build muscle, and then you're going to notice that as the metabolism goes up, your body fat's going to go down eating the same amount of food. Okay? But if you just go in there and you start starving yourself to start burning the fat and doing a lot of cardio and wearing yourself out, you're going to get skinny. You're not going to build the muscle, and you're not going to get the desired look that you want. So it's very important that you understand food as it relates to your output, which is going to be like your cardio and lifting weights and building muscle, and understand that it's a process. It's a long process to get maybe the body that you want. So those are kind of two different things, like but in the same bubble. Building the muscle is what's going to burn the fat. Doing a bunch of running around and stuff like that, that's not the ideal way to burn fat. The ideal way to burn body fat is by raising your metabolism. Some people, you may heard the term reverse dieting, and that's basically the goal of reverse dieting, to be able to get more food in your body, raise your metabolism, raise your maintenance calories, raise your raise your metabolism to where you can eat more at maintenance without putting on body fat. You don't have to starve yourself. The cutting calories and going down, in calories is for bodybuilding competition, and that's for a short window of time. So don't mistake how the girls look on stage, or how some of these Instagram models look, for being like the standard. That's not the standard. It's more the exception. Okay, look into proper nutrition. If you want a certain look, do the research, do the homework. Don't just take someone's word for it, and don't believe every little piece of information you hear. There's so much information, and it's all in context. It's all in context to what you're doing. Is white rice bad for you? Well, it depends. Is there a better choice? It depends on your lifestyle. If you live a sedentary lifestyle and you're sitting at a desk all day, you're not working out, you're not doing cardio, probably brown rice or like a grain like that would be maybe a better choice. And that's depending on your total calories per day, But the thing about the brown rice and the white rice is that the white rice is going to digest faster because it doesn't have the kernel. And then the brown rice is going to digest slower because it has the kernel. It's just how long it takes to digest. So one is not really better than the other. That's a principle of like flexible dieting. Flexible dieting, there's no limit. You can eat any type of food that you want, and you can eat any type of food that you want in context to your routine and in context to how the portion that you're eating per day. So look into what a healthy body fat percentage is for your body, for your age, your height, compared to how much muscle you have on your body. Okay, and then the way to raise your metabolism is by eating and building muscle. You have to eat, you have to build muscle to raise your metabolism. Raising your metabolism is key to burning fat and to getting that lean, toned, athletic build that you want. Shoot for year round being somewhere between maybe 12 on the low end, which is still really, really low, and being maybe 20%, 22%. That's somewhere you can be and feel confident in your body and be happy with your body. Where you can be toned and have a lean look, and stop thinking that because you have a little body fat on you, or because you pinch a little skin, that you're overweight. Okay, because it's not. It's these images we have to break down. And coaches and people, personal trainers, you need to help kill that. We need to help eradicate that belief that being shredded is the standard. It should not be the standard. It should be the exception. It should be for competition, and maybe for those people with that type of the genetics that are just shredded anyway. Some people are just super shredded, that's a very small amount of people that just don't really carry a lot of body fat on their belly or wherever. And we have to help these young kids, and especially, in my opinion, young girls and women period, but especially young girls who have this idea in their head that if they're not shredded, that they're fat. And then they start having these bad relationships with food, and they start having these issues with like bulimia, or what's the other one, where they're real skinny, they don't eat, they starve themselves. We in this industry should be at the forefront of breaking down those myths and breaking down that imagery, and start showing people really what a healthy body fat percentage is. Okay, and educating people about food and getting rid of this commercialized idea of what is healthy and healthy looking and what isn't. Okay, so that's the word today. I'm probably going to talk more on this later. This is an important subject to me because I run across this a lot with adults, past competitors, and young kids. Young girls in high school who they're not eating, they're starving themselves, and they're doing unsafe things have an unsafe relationship with food. And so we have to be at the forefront of dispelling all the bullshit. Okay, all right, grow together.